Do you wonder why people are moving into tech in recent times? Or are you looking to take your career to the next trajectory of growth? Stay with me. This video is for you. So first of all, you have to accept that even rocket science can be learned. After all, our African parents would say, your friend, does he have two heads? So I'm going to be sharing my story on how I moved from being a maths teacher at the National Youth Service level to becoming a banker, entrepreneur, somewhere in the middle, and then becoming a data analyst. The number one requirement for becoming a data analyst is you have to be comfortable with numbers. Numbers shouldn't scare you. Majority of your activity being a data analyst is working with numbers. Of course, there are many other soft skills required. I'm going to be talking about the soft skills, but I need to emphasize that you have to be comfortable with numbers. Nobody is saying you have to be a guru in calculations and all of that. That's why we have software and programs to do all of that for you, because you're going to be performing a lot of assessments, data cleaning, formatting. Basically, you're going to be dealing with lots of numbers, so you have to be comfortable with numbers. It's an advantage when you come from a background of numbers. Say you have a degree in one of the STEM courses, so you have a degree in computer science and in analytical course, say mathematics, physics, the sciences generally. You just have to be comfortable with numbers. Personally, I studied Actuarial Science and Business Administration, a double majors. Actuarial Science is a discipline of science that applies mathematical and statistical methods to assess risk and predict or forecast future events systematically. So it is said that the easiest way to become a master at something is to teach it. So I taught mathematics sometime back in northern Nigeria, Kebbi State to be precise. Kebbi is a developing area. I served the NYSC, it's called the National Youth Service Corps. So having this foundation, it became an advantage for me due to the fact that I got comfortable with numbers, so it became easy dealing and working with a large data size or a large quantity of numbers. Number two, you have to assess your skills. You have to assess your inherent skills, your soft skills. Does data analysis interest you? What's the goal? What's the plan? You don't want to spend the whole of your life doing something you don't enjoy. You can do it maybe for the money. Something should inspire you. I just spoke about the money. Something should inspire why you are getting into data analytics. The analytics world is a very large and vast industry or sphere, as we put it. There are different variations of being a data guy, being a data person. There are hybrid types, combination types of people that work with data, big data engineer and all of that. So there are many vast types of, you can become a dashboard expert, analyst that just involves in visualization, an analyst that does communications. So there are vast types of data. Number three, pursue formal education. Pursue a formal education. Get a degree. If possible, get a degree. Getting a degree or certification places you at an edge. You need a degree that will help you build your technical skills. There are certain skills, basic requirements for you, for someone seeking to transition into tech data analysis. So you need a degree at least, or some form of certification that will help you build the requisite skills needed for you to venture into the sphere of data analysis. Number four, find a template of what or who you want to become. It's easy when you have a visualization of what you want to look like. It's easy when you have a template, you have a model for what you are seeking to become. So find someone that represents your goal or your vision, or find a system, a person, an entity, whatever it is. Have a template that will guide your journey. So when you have defined what you want to become, it's very easy for you to look and see that this is the journey I'm on and this is where I seek to get to. A mentor, once again, would say transformation is impossible without a reference point. So you have to define your reference point. At what level do you want to get to where you will be satisfied or you would consider yourself successful in your career? So you have to define it. For some people, it may remain at the realm of being a data analyst, maybe an analyst that just does visualization, or someone can proceed to learning how to maybe code Python, learning a programming language to be able to solve complex problems. Number 4, build a portfolio. Build a portfolio. You got to build a portfolio. Now, having defined what your reference point should look like, you have to begin building your portfolio in light of what you want to become. So your portfolio should be directed towards how you want your end goal to become. You start to work on projects that places you on the trajectory of where you want to go to. You work on projects that gives you industry experience of what you want to get into eventually. So having the history of the person you want to become like, or whatever system you want to look like, you can find out the history. What did they give themselves to? You have to learn from their mistakes. You have to learn from their limitations. You have to learn from what propelled them forward. You have to ask questions, the kinds of decisions they got into, they made, the kinds of projects they got into, because you don't want to spend the whole of your life doing something you don't enjoy doing. The analytics world is a very large and vast industry or sphere, as we put it. There are different variations of being a data guy, being a data person. You can become a data analyst, you can become a data scientist, you can become a data engineer. In fact, there are hybrid types, combination types of people that work with data, big data engineer, and all of that. So there are many vast types of, you can become so it is said that to become a master at something, you have to learn how to teach it. You have to learn how to teach. So back then, being a maths teacher, many years ago in northern Nigeria, gave me the opportunity to learn patience. Gave me the opportunity to learn patience, considering the fact that it was a local, not so developed environment. And then the number one problem I had to face was the language barrier. Although it was still a plus, I understood to some extent the local language. So two things, patience and then learning how to communicate. You have to understand how your audience process information, and then you have to communicate in a language that they understand, both verbally, orally, and every otherwise. So it was a very great learning curve for me. I built a lot of skills that helped me to the empowerment that I have, both in soft skills, technical skills, and every otherwise. It's joy in making something so complex look so simple. I enjoyed it a lot. Something that is perceived as rocket science becomes demystified. I enjoy helping young people to see that it is not so difficult after all. What is complex can actually be simplified into terms that they can understand. So this lesson was what I picked, and it helped me to become a better person in data analytics. To us, being a data analyst or whatever sphere of data analysis will stress you. It will stress you. There are times you will just literally shut down, especially when you perform and you deal with complex numbers. There are times you just want to shut down for a week or shut down for even a month and not want to hear anything that has to do with numbers. Fast forward into banking. Working in banking taught me a lot of things. I'm going to be making a video very soon on how to get into banking, because there are several ways on how to get into banking for those looking to get into the banking career. By the way, remember the purpose of this video is for those that are trying to find their footings in their career, for young people who are trying to understand maybe their assignments, for young people who are trying to find their placing in life, for young people, professionals, I would call it now, who want to build a portfolio or who are looking for templates for what they think they can become or what they think they will or should become. So this video is for them, but specifically for those having interest to becoming a data analyst. I'm sharing my story so you can see all of the journey, can see all of the lessons I have learned, all of the joy, at least finding an expression, the bigger picture of what it takes to become a data analyst. In banking, I learned how to be disciplined. I learned discipline in banking. Discipline, a lot of personal discipline in banking. You have to build integrity in banking, regardless of whatever department you are, whether client facing, IT, behind the scenes, whatever it is, marketing, regardless, operations, you have to have integrity. So integrity is one of the requirements. You have to build resilience, hard work. It's a lot. You have to be a hard worker. So I picked up all of this working in the banking industry. I learned how to communicate in banking. Communication is key, virtually in every sphere, every career path that you want to take on. Learning the art of communication is very pivotal to how much you will thrive in that industry. It's what separates you and makes you unique. Learning how to communicate will solve problems. Learning how to communicate will help people achieve their goals, even your own goals, but even helping your clients, consumers, customers, whatever it is, to help them get what they want. Because there are times, not every time you'll be able to solve someone's problem. So your ability to communicate why you are not able to solve the problem at that time will help you. Transitioning into any career path takes time. It takes a lot of things, but time is one thing that is constant, is consistent. It takes time, it takes resilience, it takes passion, it takes interest, it takes skills, building the requisite soft skills, technical skills. It takes a whole lot of combinations of several things, but priority number one on this list is time. It takes time to venturing into a new career path. So be easy on yourself. Well, take it hard on yourself, but at the same time, like a dose, like a doctor that prescribes a dose to a patient. Take it, break your learning modules into systems. At the end of this video, towards the end of this video, I'll be sharing how to break into data analysis. So you have to be patient on yourself, break your vision or break your goals into parts, into various components. This way, it will help you to make progress and not tire yourself, wear yourself out unnecessarily. You need patience, you need long suffering, you have to be passionate about helping people, solving people's problems. Yes, you have to learn how to make something that is perceived as complex, make it simple, simplify it in much more easier terms. So you have to learn that. I learned that from being a math teacher. Patience, long suffering, learning how to solve problems. In the banking sector, I learned discipline. Discipline. So you have to prioritize and learn how to work smart. You have to learn how to work with a schedule. You have to learn how to define a scale of preference on how you're going to solve problems. You won't solve every problem at once. It takes a sequence. You have to make a system around it, enabled to provide solutions and the results that you need. Because remember, the system is watching for your performance, and your customer is also looking forward to having their needs met. So there are different ways to break into data analysis. My personal experience, one of the easiest way to break into data analysis in 2023, let's use that, in 2023, is to look for boot camps. look for boot camps and immersive learning platform. Whatever platform where you get to perform real-time projects, real-time learning, learning with practical examples that are existing, not illusions, would help you to become great or even an expert eventually in data analysis. So there are so many, this is not a sponsored video yet, but there are so many platforms that you may want to consider. There are many boot camps you may want to consider. Learning in a community gives you an advantage because you have peers that you are learning, whether virtually or physically, it depends. Personally, I took the virtual route. And then you have to look for a global platform. This way, you're able to gain skills that will be globally relevant. If you're going to learn or break into data analysis, I will consider that as much as you are learning with maybe taking on projects that are within your locality, I would personally recommend that in addition to the practical examples or projects you take on locally, you should explore and begin to build portfolios of projects that have global relevance. So this way you are able to be informed, you are enlightened, you are exposed to the global practice of data analysis. And this cuts across every other industry, every other career path. You need to understand what is the global reference in solving this problem, in this niche, in this area. So you need to understand the standardization of your industry, of your career path. So you can look for a boot camp or a certification program, whatever it is, but I will recommend a boot camp. Number one, you can get a boot camp. Number two, certification. Number three, you can get a degree, maybe in computer science. You can get a degree in data science. There are degrees in data science or in data analysis. So you can either explore the bachelor's degree, boot camps, or certification programs. And the easiest of them all is to finding a boot camp. It gives you an immersive learning platform that allows you to take on projects that have global relevance. It gives you, and they train you in accordance to standard practice in how being a data analyst or what being an analyst should look like. This way you are able to gain skills that are recognized globally, and you can probably find employers or work for people, take on projects, consult for organizations or persons or industries, whatever it is, at a global level. So personally, I would recommend there is GA, General Assembly. You can explore that. You can find them online. Just search it. It's not a sponsored video, so I'm not going to be including any link anywhere. So don't bother checking. There's General Assembly. There is Career Foundry. Career Foundry is located in Berlin, Germany. There is the GA. The GA General Assembly is located in the US. It's available virtually, actually. It's not a physical class or physical situation. So being a student, you're a student virtually. You get to learn virtually. And trust me, like I said, it's an immersive learning platform. It's going to be rigorous. It's going to depend on your ability. All of these lessons I've picked up in the years from being a math teacher to becoming a banker, all of the opportunities I've gotten to gather all of these skills to build myself in this area. This is where to be displayed. Because you would have to learn how to work self-paced, and also because no one is going to be monitoring you physically necessarily. You're not going to be accountable to anyone except, well, for your mentors and for your tutors. Using the immersive learning platform, you're going to be having tutors, you're going to be having mentors, and probably peers, say study partners, as a system of accountability to keep you in check in the process of your learning and your growth and in the tasks that you'll be doing. I studied over 600 hours in becoming a data analyst. I know this is a controversial statement now, but it is true. It is true. I studied over 600 hours in becoming a data analyst. It will take a lot of your time, patience, consistency. You have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. Although mine, I took it was quite slow because I do a lot of other things, so it took some time. But on an average, you'd probably study 35 to 40 hours every week for you to finish within the period of an average of 7-8 months. You will need to study, depending on the program anyway, depend on the LMS, the learning module, whatever structure you've submitted yourself to. The GA can be different from the general, I beg your pardon, the General Assembly can be different from the Career Foundry program. And even in Africa, there are other, I think ALX, right? Coursera, there are programs. I'm not so sure, don't get me wrong, but two recommended platforms I'm very sure of is the General Assembly and the Career Foundry. I studied 600 hours in becoming a data analyst. It is true. I know it's a controversial statement, but it is true. I'm not exaggerating. Over 600 hours in becoming a data analyst. My nights turned into day and my day turned into night. My nights turned into day and my day turned into night. It wasn't easy at all. There were times I was like, are you sure I'll not just go and learn how to dance?